Okay. Just let everybody know. All right. Welcome, Fright Nights, Monster Girls, and Assembled Heathens of the Slut Pit. I am your host, Count Jackula, and with me today is Cecil Trenchenbra?
Close. Trachenberg.
Trachenberg of Good Bad Flicks. Cecil, we've known of each other for like quite a while, talked back and forth, but we've never actually like had a chance to actually like talk in real time.
Yeah, it's all been Twitter and direct messages and stuff over the past couple of years.
Yeah. Like it was always one of those things where it's like, oh, we should give Cecil a call, but like for some reason something always went wrong. You know, I imagine like having a family and a kid probably puts a huge amount, eats up a huge amount of your time.
Yeah, it's kind of hard squeezing a lot of things in. I mean, I'm spread pretty thin. I try to do as much as possible though. But I would say it's actually kind of funny. Since I started doing video making full time, I've actually somehow managed to figure out a way to have less time. Like, it's like, wait, before I was doing this, I had a full time job and I was doing the YouTube thing and I had a family. And now I just have the YouTube thing and the family. But in order to kind of keep my head above water, I am spreading myself out there. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Twitch. I'm doing all kinds of podcasts and stuff here and there, trying to get the word out. And you
Oh
know,
yeah.
it's a crazy world.
Yeah, it really is. Like that's largely what I do with the majority of my time is just trying to figure out ways to keep the channel going. And I probably obsess on my numbers way more than I should. You know, I'm always like looking like, oh, I didn't get as many subscribers today as yesterday, and I'm like, why am I doing this? Like
Oh, dude, don't worry. It never stops. I do the same thing. I'm like, I look and I'm like, ooh, I had a really good month. I gained, X amount of subscribers. And then I'll go and I'll be like, they got that in a day. God damn it.
yeah. Oh, by the way, for those playing at home, I'm about to drink Sharkinator White IPA because it seems to be starting to be a thing where I buy like a crazy IPA for the stream, like
Ah.
preferably something with like a stupid gimmick.
hmm
Sharkinator sounded pretty good for talking with the man behind Good Bad Flicks.
I'm really lame. I'm drinking a Crystal Pepsi, circa 2016. So it's
Oh
a
my
it's a good year.
god. Oh my god, you have a Crystal Pepsi? Holy shit. Why don't they just make that?
They made a very small batch last year, and I proceeded to buy 6 cases of it.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Like I was going to do that, but then there were like no cases left. And I was like, son of a bastards, you piece of shit. Like whenever me and Horguru like drive out to a convention, we're always like every gas station, we're always like raiding the refrigerators, going like, all right, they got the Crystal Pepsi. God damn it, they don't have the Crystal Pepsi. Fuck that.
hmm Yeah, it's such a rarity, and I knew that they were only going to have it for like a little bit of time. I didn't want to like screw, just get a couple and they'd be like, oh, they don't have it anymore. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just get a whole crap ton. And then, when they inevitably discontinue it, at least I've got because I'm at the point now where I drink a soda like once, twice a month. And, usually if I need a little bit of a boost or if I'm going to be up all night editing or if, actually coming up soon, I'm doing a really long Twitch stream. I'm going to be playing Phantasmagoria 2 from beginning
Oh
to
my
end.
god.
And that game is a riot. So I want to at
Yeah.
least be, hyper for it. And one of the nice things too is when you don't drink soda very often, like I used to live on Mountain Dew, and I could drink like a gallon of Mountain Dew and then go to sleep. But now it's like I have a little bit of caffeine, and I'm like, woo! So
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah.
gonna be fun doing, having a couple of sodas and then playing Phantasmagoria 2 for, God, I don't know, 12 hours or
Oh my
however long it
god.
takes me to beat the game.
Yeah, like I don't know how many I used to have that game actually. I played that until I finished it. And the funny thing was is I found the quote unquote bad ending to be way more satisfying than the good ending.
I
Like
don't
the
know.
good ending, it's like, oh, everything works out, kind of, and you're like, oh, that's kind of lame. But the bad ending, it's like, no, that feels like where it should have gone. You know?
Yeah, because I did a stream a while ago of the first game, and it was hilarious because
Oh yeah,
it's just filled with demon rape, and it gets so because it starts off kind of not bad, and then it gets so bad. Like,
yeah, yeah. Like but the thing is that Puzzle of Flesh, Phantasmagoria 2, it's nothing like Phantasmagoria except in the
mhm.
play style. You know, it's a completely different kind of story. It's almost straight up like Lovecraftian.
Oh wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
I missed the second one because at the time when it first came out, my computer could not handle anything near that level. I mean, the 7 discs and oh my God, my computer stunk at the time. So I did play the first one actually with a friend of mine on his computer, but I didn't play the second one, and so now I got it off of like GOG, and I'm like, oh hell yeah, now computer, God, I could probably play it on my phone.
yeah, yeah. I know, right? You know, except you'd be sitting there trying to move the little icon, like move the scissors over to. God damn it!
Oh,
You
yeah, just
know?
keep hitting the wrong thing, and then she walks over. No, you're going to the wrong place again. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
the little
yeah.
tiny screen just would not be good for point and click games.
No, no, not at all. So, man, I remember so a few years ago, like I remember when about the time I got on Channel Awesome, you got on The Escapist.
Yeah, yeah, that was like not tooting my own horn, but that was like a huge deal for me because I had been watching Yahtzee like before I even started making videos, and in 2000, like early uh was it 2014, or I always mix the years up. It was either 2014 or 2015. I was at PAX East, and I went to an escapist panel, and I went up to, like, after the panel was over, I went up and I talked to some of the guys, and I gave them, like,
Oh.
I had a business card, and I was like, hey man, I love you guys, I do videos, if you ever need another content person, let me know. And they were really, really super cool. And roughly, a while later, when a whole bunch of people, left the site, Reloading
Yeah.
Ready Run, Movie Bob, Jim Sterling, and all. So I was like, you know what? Maybe, can't hurt to ask. So I contacted the editor in chief, Alex McChris, and I was like, hey man, I met some of you guys at PAX. I love you guys so much. I know you might be in the market for a new video guy. I could be your guy. And they were like, you know what? We're already well aware of you. We love your stuff, and we want to bring you on board to freelance. And I was like, holy fuck,
Oh man.
this is awesome. And it came at the perfect time too, because they hired me in April, and I got laid off from my full-time job in June.
Oh.
So, like, well, actually, I should, right at the end of June. So like the last day of June was my last day there. And so it was really good timing because I wasn't making enough at YouTube at the time, but with the amount of money that I had coming in from YouTube and the money I had coming in from Patreon, and now the money coming in from The Escapist, I still was taking a big pay cut from what I would be making, but
Right.
the potential was there for more money. Plus, it was enough. Like, it was like, all right, I have to cancel a few things. I canceled like my World of Warcraft subscription, and I had lessened like my Netflix and some of that stuff. So it was like I had took a few cuts here and there to survive, and it was able to work. Like if I didn't get the job with them, I I don't know what I would have done. It just came at like the perfect time. So it was a huge deal, and they were awesome. They're great.
Yeah, yeah. Like one of the what yeah, what was the editor that you worked with, was he the guy that came in after the previous guy, or was it the same dude?
No, it's actually Alex is the one who created the Escapist,
Oh, okay.
and he's the one he well, what happened was he created these. Oh God, what year? I don't remember the exact year that he started this site, but he
Yeah, it was
started
like
the site
2009, something like that. Yeah.
mid two. That was before that actually. It was like mid 2000s, and then Yahtzee came on board, and they blew up, and then they hired other people on from that, and then Defy bought them in 2012, and they've kind of been dismantling them over the past couple years.
Oh,
Like
really?
2016, like what happened in 2015, they hired a whole bunch of people. They hired me. They hired Leanna Kirsner or Kerner. I always mess up the last name.
Kersner.
Kersner,
Yeah.
who's married to Ed the Sock, and
Who's
she's
married
super.
to who?
Um, her her husband is the voice of Ed the Sock. He did it was a Canadian like talk show. I
Oh, okay.
kind of in the vein of um
Oh, thank you, Royal Blade. Like, sorry.
what's oh God, what's kind of like a Triumph, the insult comic dog. It's like a sock puppet, but he has a cigar. It's actually really it's I'm not selling it very well. He's pretty damn funny. But I remember she used to have the show. Well, I shouldn't say she used to have the show. He had the show, and it was in Canada, I believe, and they would rebroadcast it on G4. And I remember seeing her on the show, and then I was like, "Oh my God, you're the cosplay lady on The Escapist now. This is so cool. I used to watch you on G4." And so yeah, they hired her. They hired a whole bunch of other people, and then in 2016 they laid off a bunch of people. And then like right around tax time, so right in April. So when
Oof.
this April was coming up in 2017, I was like, I'm biting my nails. I'm like, because right then was when the YouTube adpocalypse happened,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like, no, no, don't do it, don't do it, and then because then I didn't hear anything throughout all of April, but they laid off like so many people, like pretty much everybody who didn't get laid off last year, got laid off this year, like, and so I didn't hear anything, and I wrote, and I'm like, hey, I I just want to make sure, because what happened was every Sunday night I would send them my latest video, and they would upload it on, and it would be ready on the site on Monday. And I had uploaded a video, and it didn't show up on Monday. And I was like,
Ooh.
and then I hadn't heard anything. So a couple days went by, and I wrote, and I'm like, hey, and they're like, oh, we just changed servers. We're having some issues and whatnot. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I figure they would have said, hey, you got let go. And then about a week later, I uploaded the next video, same thing, didn't show up. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, yeah, all right, we're going to, contact the powers that be and find out what's going on. And they were like, yeah, unfortunately, they didn't renew your contract, and they were supposed to send you
Oh.
something, but they didn't. And I'm like, ah, damn it.
Yeah, yeah, like well, it seems like when you really get right down to it, I was having a similar there were some other Channel also doesn't really fire people, but like they sometimes they are kind of encouraged to leave, if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
Um because they don't actually pay you.
No, they just like they just repost your stuff. Really,
Yeah. Oh,
I
thank
mean,
you,
they
August
pay
Anderson.
you, they pay you in traffic.
Yeah. Yeah. And what it basically happened there was I was like, guys, I got to be really honest. I don't think the aggregate sites are working anymore.
Mm.
I don't think sites like ours are really drawing traffic anymore. I think we need to rethink the way everything's done. And uh when I when I parted ways with Channel Awesome, there were a bunch of people who were like, "Oh, well, we should get you on our site," and I'm like, "That's okay. I'll just hang out on YouTube." Uh, Basically because I was like, I don't think an aggregate site's going to work. Like, who's if JonTron can't make an aggregate site work, I don't know if any of us can.
Yeah, really. I mean,
Yeah,
his freaking audience. You know what it
that
is?
audience is gigantic.
Oh, his audience is just obscene. I mean, he left two best friends play and started from scratch essentially his own YouTube channel and still amassed like millions of followers quickly. Like
Yeah,
I don't know how fast it was, but I know it was like ridiculously fast. And that's one of the things that's crazy about that is if you've got a good rabid audience like that, they're going to follow you wherever you go. But
yeah,
for a lot of people now, like when I talk about my copyright woes, and they're like, well, just leave, just go to VidMe. And I'm like, I appreciate the support. I appreciate the fact that a lot of you are going to follow me somewhere else. But the honest truth is they get like one bazillionth the traffic that YouTube gets. And it's like
yeah.
it took me this long to amass the following that I have now. I can't start somewhere else. I mean, I am posting my stuff on VidMe. I've been putting a lot of the stuff that was claimed on YouTube. Like I'm putting it over there because I'm like,
Right.
I'm not making any money on it over here. So I might as well put it over there and, build the audience over there as well. And, so that way I'm not really doing it at a loss. But, I hope that VidMe is probably the first site that's come along since Blip that has been any sort of competition to YouTube.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's going to be a while. But yeah, I'm with you. I think that the aggregate sites, as far as like the Channel Awesomes and stuff, if you're not already huge, then it's just really not worth it. And I think what
yeah.
happened too was when they did the talent search, they just brought in like way too many people. And
Yeah, they brought in a lot of people, and that would have been okay, but then there was definitely this feeling of like no one was getting any real support, and which was weird. It was definitely weird to feel, and to be honest, I think there were a bunch of people who didn't want any new people in, just flat out.
yeah,
Flat out, they didn't want new folks. It was a large enough group of people that there were just going to be like people were like, no, fuck you, we don't want new people in. What are you doing here? And that made it really weird. Like that experience was super weird because I was expecting something a bit closer to what I had experienced in the past when you're finally brought on to something like a television show or a game studio or something where it's just sort of like, okay, here we go. This is what you do. Here's your stuff. Here's your responsibilities. Here's how we're going to do everything. Here's how we're going to manage the merchandising. This is how we're going to do this. This is how we're going to do that. Signed here. We have guys who are going to handle it. And, we'll probably take the lion's share of all the fucking money because we're a company, but, whatever. We'll throw you some crumbs. And, I was completely expecting that kind of thing, and like none of it materialized. There was no organization, and I'm like, oh. And then of course, like a month after I get on, like a bunch of the old contributors leave in anger, and that
you
did
came on
not.
when Lupa and Phalius and all them split.
Yes, and let me tell you, that made everything super awkward. That was super awkward because the reality was is that one of the people that I wanted to work with most was Lupa. I really, really like her show. I was really looking forward to like, oh, hey, another person who watches like really shitty movies, like, I mean, like really bad, and loves them. This will be great. And then she was gone. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart, man. Yeah.
Oh yeah. She's great.
I did 2 videos with Allison, and it's weird because at the time the first one was really well received, and the second one was just a clusterfuck, and she got a lot of hate, and it really
What was the second
surprised me.
video?
We did the first movie we did was Tracks, and the second one was oh fuck no, what was it? Trying to remember. It was a Lorenzo Lamas movie. Name's escaping me at the moment, but it was
Okay.
so bad. But it's a gloriously bad movie with like they put in like Matrix kicks out of nowhere, and it's really I thought it was hysterically funny, and like I mixed the audio. Like she sent me her audio and I mixed it in, and but people were complaining saying that my audio was really good and her audio was really bad. And I mean it wasn't I mean there was a little bit of digital, not digital noise, there was a little bit of noise on hers, but I mean audibly wise it was there. And I don't know, I think people just for whatever reason they wanted to attack her, and they were, oh, her jokes aren't funny, and cringe, and we're
Yeah.
calling her a cunt, and I'm like come on.
Yeah, come
I'm
on.
like, look, guys, she's on my show, so she's obviously my friend. So, why are you gonna be an asshole?
Yeah, exactly. Like I always really liked Allison, like we always got along. I mean, she was always a little shy, and I'm a really, really intense, loud, extroverted guy, and Allison is not. So, she never looked like she was upset to see me, but there was definitely that feeling of like, she'd look at me and go like, I have no idea what to say right now. And I'd be like, uh-oh, we've hit the awkward. We hit this awkward moment. I better slink off back into the shadows.
Well, I could see her, like she does seem very much more like, I mean, she's one person I haven't met in person. Actually, God, I haven't. I've met I've met people from The Escapist in person, and I've met like some fans in person, and I've met Psycho Stick in person. I'm going to see them in about a week
Oh,
again,
nice.
and they're super cool guys, good friends of mine. And but as far as like other people in the reviewerverse, like I have never met any of them.
Yeah.
And I think, and it's kind of funny because I have all these, like when I hit 100,000 subs, I got, oh, face reveal. And I'm like, I think I'm cool. Like if I go to conventions and I meet people there or something, people are like, hey, I'm at this thing, I want to come say hi, cool. Or if ever I get a panel or something, I think that would be cool. But I kind of dig the mystery, and also it keeps the focus on whatever I'm talking about. Like it
I know what you mean. Yeah.
too many reviewers make it about themselves, and that was one of my things when I started doing the videos. I'm like, look, I want to keep the focus on what I'm talking about. I want to be the narrator. I don't want it to be, I don't want my mug to pop up all the time. And also it makes editing a lot easier.
It kind of does. Like I obviously don't have a lot of problem like putting my face on fucking everything because I am a vain motherfucker. But I gotta admit, like doing the new thing where I've just got this graphic that moves. Oh man, that makes production way simpler. It just makes it way simpler. I don't have to memorize lines as much because I could just read it if I have to.
Mhm.
But I mean, definitely I miss the filmmaking aspect of it, but it was also taken forever.
Yeah.
Like that was one of the big things that had happened, which was we got so into making it as much like a little film as possible, it was starting to take too long. And as Horror Guru will tell you at every fucking opportunity, Jack cannot do something simply. Like I was starting to write, it was one of those like a review that we never did. Was I had written this review for Event Horizon, and I was really kind of happy with where it was going. But when it came down to like, how do we put this in front of the camera for no money? I was like, oh, uh, oh shit. I have no idea how we do this. I have no idea how we recreate this scene, even shitty. And
Mhm.
so we were like, all right, well, let's think on it and do simpler projects. And then I just never did it.
It
By
probably
the
worked
way,
out in your favor because I did a video on Event Horizon. I spent about 3 weeks working on it, and Paramount claimed it after about 4 or 5 days, and
really?
300 some thousand views
Oh my
later, and I
God.
have not made much of. I think I've made about $1.50 off of it.
Oh,
So
jeez. By the way, just to let you know, one of the things I tend to do on the stream is if someone donates $20, they're allowed to be in the call for a bit. And someone who did donate $20 was a guy called August Anderson.
okay,
So I'm gonna try to bring him in just a minute. But I also wanted to give the shout out and the acknowledgement to Brendan Trenold, who was also hanging out on the live stream. Um,
cool. I know him.
yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
were just talking the other day. Another person I was chatting with on the DMs. He was talking to me about how he just got to the point where he's finally reached sponsors where they're like, "Hey, we'll pay you X amount of money to to promote our product." And it's like, "Well, no, I'm not going to do that because that has nothing to do with what I do." And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "At least you've reached that
Oh,
level."
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so many people are like, "Hi, how would you like to promote our like indie fucking medieval RPG?" And I'm like, how? You know, like how? Like I did like a couple of videos. I do video game content really, really infrequently on the basis of on my channel it just doesn't get that much traction. I only do it when I think it's really funny.
Mhm.
You know, just so that a small section of the audience I have will actually enjoy it. Because if not, what am I doing? You know, like
Yeah.
because it doesn't get as much traction on my channel. It's the lowest viewed stuff, you know, because I think people are like, no, we want the horror and Satanism guy. We don't want him to do video games unless it's a horror and Satanist video game, which
Yes.
which is why I'm really looking forward to Agony. Because they were like, dude, this game is made for you. It's an adventure game, first person shooter adventure game in hell. And I'm like, it is? And I look at it and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is getting into like Aleister Crowley shit. I'm in.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, I am in, you know? All right, let's bring August in. Call him on come on the Skype. Oh man. Bonk. Do do do.
What up, stream?
Hey, how you doing? We're waiting for the camera to catch up, but we can hear you just fine.
Uh, Trying to find if my videos. Okay, there we
Oh,
go.
there we go.
There
There
we
we
go.
go. It's working.
What's
How
All
you
up?
guys
right.
doing? Jesus Christ! I just see Jack's icon, just like waving with the devilish grin and the psychotic eyes. And it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
what
yeah. Well,
the
that's
hell?
that's kind of me here. I'll turn my camera on to the. I should probably turn my camera on for the sake of you guys. Um. Oh, by the way. Oh, Dark Blacksmith. Oh, thank you, thank you. We'll bring you in like half hour, 45 minutes. I like
Yeah,
to keep it down to like 3, especially when there's like a special guest, so it doesn't get like too crazy.
oh yeah,
Um.
that's a good idea actually.
Yeah. Um. So yeah. Cecil, like fucking. Yeah, we all started out on like the Tigwatig forum, essentially, didn't we?
Kind of. I mean, I was doing videos in like 2010 on Blip. Like I really just started because I had a friend of mine who he was a fan of Nostalgia Critic, and I had been watching James, the Angry Video Game Nerd stuff, and I really liked his stuff because also it was like, hey, James is local at the time. He was in Philly. He's since moved to Jersey, but
Oh, I didn't
uh,
realize he had moved to New Jersey.
yeah, he's like just right on the other side of the bridge, so he's not that far into Jersey,
Oh, okay,
but
okay.
so I mean he's practically here, but so I
So he
had
just so he just perfectly recreates that room every house he lives in.
pretty much, you know. He just picks it up and moves it over there. And well, I think what happened was when he moved, I mean, he moved a while ago. So I think when he moved into his new place was when he kind of redid it and made it look like the old video store. And which was hilarious because like he put a lot of time and effort and love into making it look like an old video store. And when the whole Ghostbusters thing was going down, they're like, look at creepy man in his basement. And I'm like,
oh yeah,
you assholes. Like you don't even get like what he's doing. And all he said, I'm not even, you know what? I'm not even gonna get into that. It's such old, no need to dredge up old drama.
Yeah. But it was kind of. Let me put it this way: it was kind of nice to have one person agree with me during that whole thing. It was kind of fucking nice.
Yeah. Well, I just kind
making
of
your own like moving your set to your new house and putting that much effort into it shows how much devotion he has to his channel.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, we should be back, although I'm sure everything looks weird as fuck. Because, yeah, fuck it. For some goddamn reason, like, OBS fucking freaked out on us. I don't know exactly why. You probably right now you're looking at the big please. One moment.
Yeah, one moment, please.
Yeah, one moment,
Oh,
please.
shit. The stream always acts up whenever I get on.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. Cursed.
Well, don't feel bad, man. I did a stream the other day on Tuesdays. Now I do a stream on the Escapists Twitch channel in the morning, and then on the evening I do a stream on my channel. So that morning I did a stream with an XSplit. Everything was fine. Put my computer to sleep, did the rest of my day, made dinner, put my son to bed, hung out with my wife for a little while, came back down, started up, gone on, no audio. I'm like, what? Nothing changed. Nothing changed since this morning. And it worked fine, and now it's not working.
Yeah. Why? Yeah.
The internet gods deemed it.
It certainly did.
God, I don't know why we have. Why, man? It's always nonstop. Fucking, it's always like nonstop, like whatever the fuck. Good God. Yeah, it's given me this weird. Like, all right, so let's see. Hold on, this might crash it again.